This is the ECOFLOW WAVE 3 portable air conditioner, a compact gray box with clean lines and rounded edges, about 20 by 13 by 12 inches and roughly 33.7 pounds on its own. The shape is low and wide like a small carry-on with vents up front, a rear intake, and a top outlet for ducting. It looks like a purpose-built tool instead of a clunky appliance, and that's the vibe I want for gear I bring into a van, RV, or small room. ECOFLOW sent me a sample for testing, and I've been running it for about a week. These are my honest thoughts. From my experience, the Wave 3 hits a sweet spot for small spaces where a window unit doesn't work and a full-size portable is overkill. Key features for me are the multi-mode design, the dual hose setup, app control, and the optional battery that lets it run away from a wall outlet. Setup is simple. In the box, there's the main unit, 2 insulated hoses, a drain tube, 3 clip-on shrouds that let you aim or connect ducting from the front, top, and back, a window template to help you route the hoses outside, a quick start guide, a power adapter, and a small cord wrap panel. There's also a port on the bottom for the add-on battery, which is sold separately. The shrouds slide in at an angle and click into place, then the hoses twist and lock. The drain plug on the side pulls out and the silicone tube pushes on firmly. If you're new to portable ACs, a dual hose means one hose pulls fresh outside air across the condenser, while the other exhausts hot air outside. That keeps indoor air pressure balanced so you're not sucking hot air back into the room through gaps. It's a big efficiency win compared to single hose units. Using it is straightforward. Press and hold the power button for a couple seconds and the screen wakes up. Modes are auto, cool, heat, wind, and dry. Auto picks for you, cool targets a set temperature, heat uses the built-in heat pump, wind is just a fan, dry is the dehumidifier. You can dial the temperature down to 60 degrees Fahrenheit for cooling or up for heating, and you get sub-modes inside each like Sleep, Eco, and Max. Sleep trims noise and power, Eco balances comfort and battery life, Max goes all out. On cooling, I set 60 degrees Fahrenheit with fan on high and let it run in a 120 to 150 square foot office with the hoses routed out a window insert. The air coming out of the front vent is genuinely cold, and the room dropped by roughly 12 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit in about 15 minutes. That lines up with ECOFLOW's claim of 6100 BTU. A BTU is just a measure of how much heat it can move, and at this level, it's designed for small rooms, van builds, tents, or bunks in an RV. In my opinion, if you try to cool a big open living room or a vehicle parked in direct sun, it will struggle. Keep expectations realistic and give it a well-sealed 180 square feet or less, and it does its job well. On heat, I set max temperature and fan speed. The outlet air climbed into the 120 degrees Fahrenheit after a few minutes, and the space warmed up by around 12 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit in a short window. That matches the 6800 BTU heating spec. It's not a furnace for a house, but for cold mornings in a van or a cabin corner, it's solid. Because it's a heat pump, you're getting more heat out than the electrical power you put in, which is why the watt draw is reasonable for the warmth you feel. On noise, sleep mode is pleasantly quiet. ECOFLOW lists 44 decibels, and that feels right for night use. It's background whoosh territory. When I crank it to max, the fan clearly ramps up, and you get something closer to 60 decibels. It's not obnoxious for a garage or a campsite, but you'll notice it in a small bedroom. If you're sensitive to sound, plan to cool the space hard before bed, and then run sleep mode. Power draw depends on mode. From my experience, cooling in Eco was hovering in the 400 to 450 watt range once conditions stabilized. Heating hung around the 600 watt mark during my test. Fan only moved a lot of air and used roughly 70 watts. Dry mode ran even lighter near the mid-30s. The rated wattage on the label is higher because that accounts for peak draw and startup, but typical use is often lower once the compressor cycles. The app is a highlight. I paired it to my phone, set modes and temperatures, changed fan levels, and set a shutdown timer without touching the unit. Pet care is a thoughtful feature that can kick the system on when ambient temperatures rise to a set point, like 78 degrees Fahrenheit. I treat that as a backup, not a permission slip to leave pets alone in a parked car. Direct sun can defeat any small AC fast, so common sense still rules. Moisture handling is handled well. In cooling, it re-evaporates a lot of condensate back out the exhaust, so you usually don't see much water. In very humid conditions or in dry mode, connect the drain tube and let it feed to a container or a sink. That keeps it running without stopping to empty anything.
The optional 1024 watt-hour battery is where the Wave 3 becomes a truly off-grid tool. It docks under the unit, latches securely, and connects with a short cable. It also adds USB ports for charging small devices. EcoFlow claims up to 8 hours in eco, and that's possible at lighter loads like fan plus gentle cooling. Running max cooling, my battery estimate was closer to around 3 hours, which matches the typical you can have power or you can have runtime, pick two story with portable packs. The battery supports fast charging at up to 1000 watts, topping off from flat in around 75 minutes, and there's a 12-volt vehicle lead included, which is handy during travel days. With the battery installed, weight is near 60 pounds. It's still portable, but you'll want to plan your moves. Key features that stand out after a week are the dual hose efficiency, the honest cooling and heating output for a small footprint, the app controls that actually make daily use easier, and the use of R290 refrigerant. R290 is a more climate-friendly refrigerant with lower global warming potential than older blends, which is a direction I like seeing in new gear. The freestanding design means no permanent install. The 2-year warranty is reassuring for a device that will see bumps and rides. Not everything is perfect. The capacity ceiling is real. I'd keep it to 180 square feet and under for reliable results, and try to mitigate direct sunlight with shade or reflective covers when you can. On max, it's louder than sleep, and sound-sensitive sleepers might prefer to pre-cool and then step down the fan. Battery-only use feels best for shorter sessions or spot cooling. If you want overnight cooling at a constant low temperature, plug it into shore power or a large power station. It's also worth noting the weight with the battery may be a bit much for frequent stair carries. From my experience, setup time is short once you fit the window panel and learn the shroud clicks. The insulated hoses don't radiate as much heat back into the room, which helps. The display is readable, the controls are simple, and holding the power button for 2 seconds becomes muscle memory. I like that I can target 60 degrees F on a hot day and see the watt draw settle into a reasonable range after the initial pull down. I also like that wind mode gives me a strong fan without running the compressor, which is good for shoulder seasons. It's perfect for van life, RV bunks, home offices, tents with proper venting, and garages where you can crack a window and route the hoses. I'd recommend this for anyone who needs flexible heating and cooling in small spaces, wants app control, and values a dual hose design for better performance. If you're trying to condition a large living area or plan to leave pets unattended in a sunlit vehicle, this isn't a match. In my opinion, EcoFlow balanced power, size, and features well here. Cooling to 6100 BTU and heating to 6800 BTU in a package that's this tidy with quiet sleep mode around 44 to 45 decibels is impressive. The fact that it can drop a room by about 15 degrees in 15 minutes in a right-sized space lines up with what I felt. The battery add-on makes it far more useful outside of wall power, and little touches like the window template, the cord wrap, and the insulated hoses show they thought about day-to-day use. In conclusion, the ECOFLOW WAVE 3 is a capable, portable climate tool for small spaces. It cools, heats, and dehumidifies with honest performance, simple controls, and a strong app. It won't replace a whole home system, and it won't ignore physics and blazing sun, but used where it's meant to work, it's reliable and efficient. If you've been hunting for a compact unit that can follow you from a campsite to a tiny office without a permanent install, this checks the right boxes. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel. Drop any questions or your own experience with the Wave 3 in the comments, and I'll do my best to reply. Thank you for watching.